Alright gang, here we are with our video for Chapter 18, Section 1, and this one is specifically focusing on viruses. Lots of terminology in this chapter, so you kind of have to just make sure you learn what the terms are, and I'm going to try my best to explain what they mean as we go through the series of videos here. So, first of all, viruses, if we just take a look at what they are, they call them infectious particles. They are not actually living organisms or anything like that, but they can cause infections, so they call them infectious particles, and those particles will always be made up of, one is a capsid. Capsid is just another term for proteins, a series of proteins. That capsid will be surrounding some form of a nucleic acid, so that could be DNA, either double-stranded or single-stranded DNA in there, or it could be RNA, either double-stranded or single-stranded RNA. Could be inside of a virus, so we have a nucleic acid surrounded by a protein, and on some viruses we have something we call an envelope. So here's a bunch of pictures of viruses from the books, and if we just kind of zoom in on some of these, it would be nice if, let's move these out of the way. The first one's here, just terminology-wise, the capsid, if you remember, is the protein coat that's around the nucleic acid. So here we've got one type of virus. You're seeing the protein coat is this purple-colored things here. That's the capsid, made of capsomeres. You'll see that number or that term spoken of a lot. Capsomeres are basically the individual building blocks of the capsid or the protein coat, and then inside of both of these, this has RNA, so that's a nucleic acid. It's coiling down through the middle of this. That's the tobacco mosaic virus, which it talks about a bunch. And then this one right here has DNA in the middle, and that would be the virus for the common cold. So that's those. Some other things just to point out on other ones. This picture here is of something called a bacteriophage. Oopsies, bacteriophage. And the book talks about that a ton. It's just another type of virus, but they specifically target bacteria, and the term phage is often used for these. And again, it's just a very complex protein coat in this case, or capsid around here with these tail fibers and just a bunch of different things. But then the DNA is held in the head of this bacteriophage. These have been studied a ton. That's why they get pointed out specifically. And then the last one here, what we're seeing as different is our optional piece, the envelope. Okay, and the envelope basically, if I look inside of this, we've got our capsid, or protein, covering our RNA, which is our nucleic acid, which is noticed in the red there. Okay, and then we've got a couple of these surrounded by a membrane, and that's what the envelope is. This membrane would have come from whatever the host cell was that this was originally a part of when this virus was made. This would have come from the membrane of the host cell would have surrounded this, and then we've got glycoproteins, which would have come from the host as well. On the outside of this one, we'll talk a little bit later about some viruses that specifically have membranes and how they work out. Okay, so that's a basics there of what's involved with the virus. You just have a nucleic acid surrounded by a protein, and every now and then they've got a membrane around that we call an envelope. So that's that. Now, the rest of the chapter is basically dedicated, or this section, sorry, the rest of the section is dedicated to reproduction within viruses. So let's go ahead and take a look at the basic scheme of reproduction for a virus.